Lightbox, right?
Yeah. Okay.
If I wanted to do my Lightbox in my portfolio that already exists, would I just go into that HTML, like into that like brackets thing,
Yep.
instead of creating a new one?
Yeah. Now there's going to be things that you'll need to do for this assignment that you probably wouldn't want on a portfolio. Like you're going to have to be able to embed a Google map. You're going to have to embed a PDF. Probably don't want all that. Maybe a resume for the PDF. But so you can do kind of like half the assignment on your portfolio if you want, and then just make some other random page for the rest of it. It's whatever you want to do there. So if anything, or you could just do it on one page, get a good feel for it, how to do it, and then go over to your portfolio and do it that way. Okay, so anyways, Lightbox, here we go. The plugin that we're going to be using is called FancyBox. It's fancy, okay? If you're not sure what the crap Lightbox are, well, here you go. This is a Lightbox, okay? It's when you click on a thumbnail and it comes busting up into your face. Okay, now I like FancyBox because it has a lot of features. One, it's responsive, okay, so it goes down on mobile devices really well. It shrinks down really well. And then it gives you a bunch of little options up here too. You can see them in thumbnail mode if you group them up, which is pretty slick. You can share it, which I never really use that. Not a big social guy. Full screen, bam, okay. And then you got the slideshow that I think every couple seconds it'll go to the next one. Another really cool thing that I like is you can add captions as well. So you can give a little context to your pictures. So you can say, hey, I am the author of this picture, or I am the author of this, and this is the title of it, or whatever. The other thing I really like about it is it does a lot more than just pictures. You can do videos, you can do PDFs, you can do Google Maps. I mean, Lightboxes are just a really awesome way of just displaying content because it doesn't interrupt the flow. It doesn't make you go to this other page and then you have to go back. It's just, it gives you what you want and then it goes away. And it's slick and they're easy to use here. So if we take a look at the assignment, I was thinking on changing this. I don't know. We may or may not. We'll see. So you got to have at least a set of at least 4 images. Okay. Each image needs to have a title, a caption. Okay. You need to load at least 2 external videos. They can be from YouTube or Vimeo. I can't remember if it loads any other types, but really these are kind of the 2 big ones that you would use anyways. Okay, now this says this will only work on your host. What that means is you're not going to see the videos work. They're not going to come up on the Lightbox unless you upload it to your host. It's just one of those weird security things that like Chrome has, that it blocks it locally, but once you upload it, the videos should show up. So that's how you're going to test that. So if you click on the Lightbox for the video and it doesn't start playing, don't freak out. Upload it. Then if it doesn't work, then you can freak out. Okay, but that's how you're going to test that. Then you got to load a location using Google Maps. Same thing. That will only work when it's live. Okay, then you're going to load an external PDF and something else, whatever you decide. Okay. When you're done, style it up. In other words, I don't want it to be just this blank, lame white page. It needs to have a background, needs to look good. Okay, so I guess that would be something that may prompt you to want to do it on your portfolio, because then you're already doing it on a page that's styled. Okay, and then all you guys are already good here, which is awesome. So just make sure you turn in your web host and your domain. That's probably the easiest 50 points you'll ever get in the class. Okay, all right. So create a new folder.
Is the project on whatever we want?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, definitely. You can create a little like portfolio page, or it could be, I don't want it to be on my portfolio, I want to be on something else, whatever you decide here. I mean, it's always cooler if you have at least some sort of theme instead of just random stuff. All right, so I'm creating this new folder called Lightbox. Now, this site, they did a really good job with their documentation and stuff. They make it really, really easy to learn how to use it. And this is just really easy to use anyways. It only takes a couple lines of code. And it's one of the, I don't know, one of the best, if not the best Lightbox I've ever found. Now, with that being said, that's the thing. There are a ton of Lightbox plugins out there. So FancyBox is one of the hundreds. You can get out there and find all kind of Lightboxes, but this one, like I said, it does, the images, videos, everything, and it makes it pretty easy, which I like. Okay, so we're gonna hit download. I'm gonna download this into the Lightbox folder. It's going to give us a bunch of extra crap that we don't need. So it's a zip file, so I'm going to double click that and extract it. So we're going to extract all this stuff here. So I got the zip file, and then I have the extracted folder, so I'm just going to kill the zip file. I don't need that anymore. Okay. Give you guys a few seconds to do that.
Mine just downloaded the FancyBox master. Download a zip.
Well, that's awesome.
Okay, I'm just making sure that's okay.
I know with Macs, when you with PCs, you got to double click and then you got to hit extract and all that stuff. With Macs, I think you just double click, right? Yeah. And then it just automatically extracts it. So that may have been what happened. I don't know. Huh?
Can you click in that folder?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have all that.
Yep. It's giving us a ton of junk that we're not going to use. Really, all we want are there's two files inside the distribution. So what that's short for, the distribution folder. So we're in FancyBox master. Go into dist, and we want these two files: jQuery.fancybox.min.css and the .js file. Everything else that we got, it's junk. We can chuck it. Now, I'm pretty sure we talked about this before, but the differences between a normal file and then a minified file. And it's good to understand. So this is a normal CSS file, right? You got all the different spaces. You got everything on one line. Well, doing it that way actually takes up more file space. So these minified files are just a bunch of blah, because they've gotten rid of all the white space, because white space takes up file space in a file. So these minified files are great because they actually end up saving you file space because it gets rid of all the extra crap in there that it didn't need. Now, obviously, you can't really read this. You can. It's just good luck going in here and editing it. So it's really good to have minified files for code that you're not really going to touch or do anything to. And in this case, we're not. We have these two files, the JavaScript file, the CSS file. We're not going to touch them. We're not going to do anything to them. So yeah, we're going to use the minified versions. But if I were to go in here and edit things and kind of, make it my own thing, mess with the styles, change colors and stuff, well, then I'd want them. Okay. But I'm grabbing the minified ones because I'm not going to touch it, not going to do anything with it. So I'm going to go back up to my main project folder, Lightbox, and just cut and paste them there. And then I'm going to get rid of everything else. And then get rid of this stuff because I don't need it. So this is the JavaScript and the CSS that was written by the FancyBox people that's giving all of the functionality to the Lightbox. So now all we got to do is just embed these files into our HTML file, and all we got to do is call them, and they do beautiful stuff. Okay, now I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it assets. This is where I'm going to put my images, where I'm going to put my PDF. Videos, obviously, we're not going to put in there because we're just going to be pulling them from YouTube or Vimeo or whatever you decide to use. But this is just going to be kind of my folder where I'm going to put all my stuff that I'm going to have load in the Lightbox. Okay, if I'm going too quick, slow me down. I have no problem waiting. But if no one's yelling at me, I'm just going to keep going. We good to move on? Sweet. All right, file new. I'm going to cheat. You didn't see this? Okay. You did not see that at all. I typed all this out, you guys. Okay, now you may be going, what the crap is this viewport? Well, we'll talk about this when we get into media queries. Viewport is a meta tag that you need for websites to display on mobile sites the way they should. But in this case, this isn't a mobile site, so we don't really need that. Okay, I'm not getting the color coding because I haven't saved it. So file save as. I'm going to call it LB for Lightbox, and I'll save it in the Lightbox folder. There we go. Beautiful colors. The reason I cheated, guys, by the way, is because I can type an HTML structure in my sleep. It's kind of done it a million times. So I just didn't really want to do it again. If you can do that, you feel like, yeah, I can do that. I got it memorized now. Okay, cool. It's a plugin for brackets called HTML Skeleton. It's an extension. Oh, no, you are not uploading, are you? Oh, you are. Another plugin. Don't worry about it. Hold on, I got to erase some stuff. So while you guys are getting that typed out. So you got this other plugin in brackets where every time I save it uploads it to my server, which is great, except for right now because I don't want this on my server right now. All right, so title, let's see. I don't know. I guess I like Overwatch. We'll do Overwatch. Overwatch characters. No, we'll just do Overwatch. We'll do everything Overwatch on this. So I'm going to throw a header in here. We'll call it images. No, we'll say, what do they call it? Heroes, characters? I don't know. Characters, why not? Okay, now before I start putting in images and stuff, I need to embed those files so they can be used. Now the first one we need to embed is one we didn't download. Okay, we have the fancy box stuff, but these all use, as you can read here, jQuery. Okay, and we'll talk about jQuery later in a different week and what exactly it is, but we got to have jQuery in our project as well. So I got to head out to, I'm going to just Google jQuery because Google wants us to depend on them, and so they've hosted all these amazing JavaScript libraries and stuff, so we can just use them. We can pull them from their servers. Okay, so when I Google jQuery, we get this hosted libraries site. So I'm going to click on it, and these are all the different libraries that Google hosts for us. Okay, and we want jQuery right here on the right. Brings us down. We got 3.x, 2.x, 1.x. We want the 3.1. It's like the most up-to-date version. I'm going to copy that and throw it up here in the head tag. So jQuery is a JavaScript library. In other words, it's kind of like FancyBox in the fact that people have written a bunch of code that does a lot of amazing things and put it in this library. So the things you can do in jQuery, you know, if you would have done that with just pure, it's called vanilla JavaScript, like just JavaScript, it would take, you know, a ton of, a bunch of lines of code to do stuff, where with jQuery, it's just like one or two.
Which one did you take?
I took the third one, 3.x.
How did you get there?
So I Googled Google jQuery.
Okay.
And there's this hosted library site.
You pasted it in the brackets.
Yeah, you put it inside the head tag. So once you get here, go to jQuery, bam, and grab that one. The 3.x snippet one. So you want the script tag, the source, and then the closing script tag. And then you throw that inside the head area of your HTML file. So now that I've embedded jQuery into my page, now I can use all of the jQuery commands that exist. And there's a ton. But jQuery, from what I've seen, is by far like the most popular JavaScript library. It's used everywhere. And just for an example of like what it does, we're not going to be using this. We'll use it later. But like if I wanted to select, say down here, I have ID equals hi, right? If I wanted to select this just using JavaScript, I'd have to say document.getElement by ID. The ID I'm getting is hi, and it'd be enter HTML. Okay, so it starts at the whole document level. It looks on the page for an element with the element is just another word for tag. So it's basically saying get the tag with the ID of hi, which is down here, this h2, and then enter HTML is just the text in between the tag. That's it. So this would be characters. So enter HTML in this case would be characters. So that's how you do it with just JavaScript. With jQuery, I don't know if enter HTML exists. It's going to be something like that. Okay. Oh wait, because it's a ID, you got the pound there. I don't know. I can't remember 100% if it's dot value or what it is, but it's something like that. So you can see that jQuery just, they take something that's kind of a pain to type, right? And then it just kind of shortens it down. It's like, well, no, we don't need document.getElement. We'll just say, hey, there's this ID of hi. Go out there and grab it. Okay, so that's a very simple example of how jQuery like improves things and makes JavaScript an easier language to program in. But it takes things that are kind of annoying, take a lot of effort, and it makes it a lot more simple. Yeah.
You said your tutoring was Mondays and Wednesdays?
Monday and Tuesdays.
Monday and Tuesday.
Yep. Monday, Tuesday, 12 to noon. 12 to 1. Not 12 to noon. That would be great. Hi, guys. I'm here. Bye. Okay. Anyways. So just an example. We're not using it, but, you know, that's the kind of stuff that jQuery gives you. And then you can animate with jQuery. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. That what used to be really hard to do in JavaScript, they've made it a lot easier. All right, now let's, we need to embed those FancyBox files. So let's do the CSS one. Nope. So we got to embed that CSS file. That can be anywhere. Now, if you're at home, I don't know, for some reason you don't have access to this video, for some reason you didn't do it in class, you can go to their website. Their documentation is awesome. You just come over here to their documentation, and it will tell you exactly how to use this. Okay, so dependencies, jQuery 3 or higher is preferred. Okay, well, that's the one we grabbed, so we're good. It's compatible in all these browsers. Okay, and then boom, here's the setup, right? So there's this CSS file that we just put in. Okay, and then, well, we should probably do this. They want us to embed jQuery and the JavaScript file right below or right above the closing body tag. And the reason for that is you want everything on the page to load first, and then you load all the scripts that are going to mess with it, because JavaScript loads line by line. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll grab this and put it right there. And then we'll load the other one. Does the order matter? Yeah, it matters. Okay. jQuery, this fancy box JavaScript file is using jQuery. So if you don't load jQuery first, this isn't going to work. So before you can start loading all the functions and the commands and stuff inside of this one, you got to make sure that jQuery is loaded first, because this has a bunch of jQuery code in it. So very, very, very important that you understand that, because there's a lot of times, man, when I first started this, I'd be doing all these things and nothing would work. And it was because I was calling jQuery. I was trying to do all this stuff with jQuery before the library was even loaded. So you got to make sure the library is loaded first, then you can start using it. Okay, if we come back to the documentation, there's the setup. Shows us how to do that. We just did it. And then how to use. So it's the cool thing. This website just says, all right, okay, now that you've installed it, this is how you use it. And then it tells you how to do more things than we're going to. Shows you how to group images. Okay, talks about how to do captions. You can have actual just HTML in a Lightbox. So if you don't want to load an image or video, you just want to load some like message or text with like a cool font or something, you can do that as well. You can load code, which we're not going to do. Ajax, we're not going to go there. But Ajax is just a way you can load stuff without the page reloading. It's kind of cool. So iframe things, I mean, it can load. Basically, if it's some sort of content, this stuff can load it. Now, one thing you can take a look at, I'm not going to require it. Let's see, is it on this page? No. Can't remember. Somewhere on here it allows you to disable right click, but people can still do screenshots and stuff. The purpose is that so they can't right click and then just save your image. But you know, screenshots exist, so you know, whatever. But anyways, you can take a look at this. We're not going to go through all of it. We're just going to go through just a little bit of what it can do. All right, so I'm going to run what I have here. It's not going to be anything too crazy right now. Okay, just characters, and then it loaded all the stuff. All right, so throw in a div. Okay, it's going to be my images. And I'm going to go out and grab some. Now this is the wild, wild west of the internet, so if we see naughty images, I apologize. You never know when that's going to happen. Let's see, you know what? Let me go the way you probably should be doing this. We'll do this one because it's bigger. It's 1920 by 1080. It's like a full screen picture. And that's going to be kind of what I'm looking for. All right, save image as. Now I'm going to save this as the large one. So Junkrat, say L for large. Okay, and then what I'm going to want to do is come into Photoshop and shrink this down and get a small version. Like, this isn't really the way you have to do it for the assignment, but this is the way you would want to do it, like, on your portfolio, because you're going to have a bunch of thumbnails and then you're going to have the large version that comes up in the Lightbox. So I'm going to say image size. I'm going to bring this down 300-ish. So the actual size is that. And to be honest, I want that a little smaller. So let's go like 250. Even smaller, I think. All right, that looks okay. So save that out. And this is going to be Junkrat small. Okay, I can play with the quality here. Just check your size, make sure it's not too big. 39 kilobytes, that's way small. That's totally fine. 43, that's okay too. I mean, you just want to play with the quality till, you know, it's a good file size and it looks good. Anything under like 50, 60 kilobytes, you're good to go. All right, so I'll save that out. So now I have a large version, which is, you know, the 1980 by 10 or whatever, 1920 by 1080. It is 146 kilobytes, which is pretty big. And then we have the small thumbnail, which is, you know, 38 kilobytes. 38, 40 kilobytes. And it's what, 225 pixels wide. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt to have to go on there and make both versions, but if you want the site to function the way it should, this is what you're going to want to do. Okay, so if we come back to the documentation, we get an idea of how to do it. It gives you an example right here. So we have this A tag, which links to an image. We got a caption. There it went. Anyways, so this is the thumbnail, and then the A tag is going to link to the large version of the picture. So we can put it in there. So A tag is going to go to the large one. So Junkrat L. And then I throw in this attribute data fancy box. That's saying initialize and use the Lightbox on this, please. And in HTML5, you can have attributes without values. That's all we're doing here. Okay, and then we have data dash caption. That's how we do a caption. So I can say, you know, Junkrat. Okay, and then I throw in the image, and this is going to be the thumbnail, so the small version. So I probably want to throw in an alt attribute, Junkrat, thumbnail. And there we go. So that's the small version, the 40 kilobyte version. This is the 140 something kilobyte, whatever it was. Okay, and then there's the caption, Junkrat. If it's not working, inspect, right click and inspect, and go to your console, see if there's any errors. But you guys are amazing students. It's going to work for all of you. Right? Right.
Wait, will you go down just a little bit?
It's as far as I can go.
Oh.
That's basically.
Oh, my computer is lagging, I see.
Yeah. The broadcast sometimes is a couple seconds behind. So again, this is the large version. That is what initializes or starts the fancy box. It's what basically attaches the Lightbox effect to that image. Then that's the caption. That's what shows up in the lower left-hand corner. Okay, and then this is the small thumbnail that shows up when the page loads right here. Okay, while you guys are writing that, I'm going to go grab some other images. So Diva is pretty cool. Like I said, apologize if we see naughty stuff, because it is the wild, wild west of the internet.
Whatever you have in the data captions equals whatever, right underneath what you're looking at. And the parentheses, is that just what the caption is going to be, or?
In the quotes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have Junkrat here, and I have Junkrat there. Yep, so that's what it'll say. You know, I should probably stick with mail types. So McCree, you never know what's going to come up. Good old McCree, even though I hate him and never play him. Let's see. Yeah, we'll grab that one. Actually, yeah, we'll go with this one. So McCree large. Throw it into Photoshop. Bam. Make this smaller. We'll go.
Say under 50 kilobytes?
Yeah, kilobytes for the thumbnail. For the large one, it is what it is. If it's massive, like a couple megabytes, then you probably want to. There's this really cool website called, I know some of you guys I've shown this to, Tiny PNG, and this compresses images. So you can upload an image and it'll do whatever it does to compress it. Sometimes it saves you, maybe 20 kilobytes. I've seen this thing cut images like by 70%. It's crazy. Sometimes it does an amazing job. Other times it's okay. It just kind of depends. I know they did the video codec thing. That's as far as I got. So I can take this McCree thing, right? It is, let's see how good it does. So yeah, 280 kilobytes. That's a lot. So I can just click and drag it up in here, uploads it, compresses it. Usually goes pretty quick. And you'll probably want to do this. So yeah, I mean, look, it cut it in half. It's pretty good. And I've compared these. So if I say download, yep, boom, download. I'll just call it, well, I guess we'll just call it L2 for now. When I've compared them, it's usually, you can't really tell. I mean, like, that's the non-compressed one. That's the compressed one. I really don't see any difference at all. Non-compressed, I mean, I see it change maybe a little bit, but it doesn't look any worse. But yet I just cut the size in half, which is pretty awesome. And I found that, like, with JPEGs, it seems to do a better job. PNGs, it does okay, but I've seen the huge file size savings like this, half, usually on JPEGs. So it's pretty slick service. So I'm going to use that one. It's smaller. Makes me happy. Okay, so I'm going to throw that one in there. href, assets, McCree large. Oh crap, I never shrunk him down, I don't think. Yep, there's a small one. So save that one out as well. So McCree S. Okay, and this one's about 40 kilobytes. Totally okay with that. All right, so data fancy box, data caption, McCree. I think that's how you spell it. I don't know. Can't remember about the capitals and stuff. Okay, and then tab over because the image tab is inside of the A tag, assets, McCree L. Alt, nope, not McCree L, McCree S. Alt, McCree. Something like that. Okay, come back here. There's the image. Bam, it works. Hallelujah. Happy days. So hopefully you can start seeing how you can put this on a portfolio page, some other page that you're messing with. The really cool, I've used a bunch of Lightboxes, and FancyBox is by far like the most featured, has the most features, and it's by far the easiest to use. There's other ones where like you have to write some code, like instead of embedding code that they give you, you have to create a script tag and kind of throw in your own code, and it gets kind of messy. But here you embed two files, a CSS file, JavaScript file, well, I guess, and jQuery. Throw in a couple attributes and you're done. It's pretty cool. It's pretty easy.
I switched the pictures somehow.
Well, you click on the Lightbox and it switches out to something else.
It goes from big to, I gotta just,
Oh, okay.
they changed the.
So the image tag is the thumbnail, the A tag is the large version. And why is that green? Any questions? Any issues?
So we have to have 4 separate images. Like we don't have like multiple images in one for this assignment.
What do you mean? Sorry.
Like there's only like one when you pull it up in a box.
Like you can't go back and forth.
Oh.
Like
Is that what you're talking about, having a group so you can kind of scroll through in the Lightbox?
Yeah, like is that
Yeah.
like the assignment's 4 separate?
No, the assignment is a group.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're going to do next.
Okay.
Yep. So way to tell the future. That's awesome. Yeah, so what Savannah said, which is dead on, well, okay, I click this one, but I can't go over to McCree. It's just I have to click that. If I want to see the other one, I have to close out, go over to McCree. There's no way to kind of cycle through them. Well, yeah, because I haven't put them in a group. I just wanted you to see how to do it the one way. Okay, now if you want to group them, FancyBox makes it pretty dang easy. You just say data FancyBox equals something. So I could say OW for Overwatch. Now, all you got to do is say data FancyBox equals the same thing on all the images that you want to be grouped. So if I had a bunch of different groups, I could say maybe G1, G2 for group 1, group 2, whatever. But the main thing is you have to have data FancyBox equals something, and whatever you have them equal to, it needs to be equal to the same thing on all the images that you want to be in a group. So now that I did that, now they're in this group. Now I get the arrows and I can go through. Now the thumbnail view where I can go through that way. So it doesn't matter what they're equal to, they have to be the same. So if I come over here and say OW2 and I save it, well, that just broke the group. They're no longer grouped together. There is a group, but there's only one image in that group, so it doesn't let you cycle through. So the assignment is 4 images, right, in a group. So you got to make sure that you do that. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing if you wanted to group a bunch of videos. Anything that you want to group, really, I think you just set it all equal to the same thing. And again, if you're not on my broadcast, I would highly recommend it. It's going to make your life a little easier. Instead of looking back and forth at the projector, unless you're down with that and you want to have chiropractic work later in your life. Having fun, Maggie? No. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're loving it.
Don't leave this page.
All right, now I'm going to copy and paste this a little bit because I want to get some more images in there. I don't care that they're the same because I'm going to go off the rail here a little bit. I know, guys, I'm going a little crazy because I want to show you something that really isn't part of the assignment, but I don't know. I've been messing around with lately, and I actually think it's pretty cool. And I actually might make it part of the assignment, to be honest. We're going to see in a minute here. Well, Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know, guys. We'll see. I'm not really sure if this is a good spot to do it, actually. No, I lied. Sorry.
What?
No, it doesn't matter. Just keep doing your thing. That's why I became a teacher, to disappoint people. Well, there's this thing called Flexbox, and it's really cool, but the thing is, these images are kind of already doing what a Flexbox would do. So you guys would look at it and be like, nah, who cares? And it'd be kind of like, it would kill the awesomeness of it. Oh well, I don't care. I'll show you anyways. It flexes. Okay, so I'm gonna throw in a style tag here. I probably should do this in an external style sheet, but I don't really want to right now. Okay. So let me show you really quick the W3 schools thing on this. This is something that I'm considering putting into the intro class, but we'll see. So what Flexbox does is it allows you to take a bunch of elements inside of a div, a bunch of tags or a bunch of divs inside of a div basically, and space them out. So here you got, 3 divs inside of the main div. Okay, and you can space them out and kind of have them justified over here to the left-hand side, or you can space them vertically. Or you can space them like this and so forth. So I'll just show you a little bit about it, and then, if you want to go take a look at it more, you can. So the way you do it is I have this div that's containing all the images with the class of images. So I'm going to style that. And you say display flex. Okay, and you can see automatically what it did is it forced them all to be on the same line, and it made them go all the way across. Okay, now that's what it does by default. Now, is it flex wrap? I think it's flex wrap. So now I can say flex wrap, no wrap. No. I want it to wrap. Okay, and that tells it, okay, when you run out of space, go down to the next line. Okay, and now you can just kind of start controlling the way these things are basically set up next to each other. Like I said, it was kind of already doing it before I showed you, so it's not really that big of a deal, but this is if you have different things in a div that you want to be lined up perfectly, you can. And so now you can do other things like, let's see, justify content. So I'm going to say width 100% because I want it to be the full width of the browser. I can say justify content center. Okay, and now it just kind of automatically centers them. So you can easily get things to be centered on the page. And now you're already starting to get a responsive type site, which is kind of cool. So I've told it to be 100%, and now it just kind of automatically is starting to be responsive, which is slick. Okay. If I want space in between these, like I said, I'm kind of new at this still. Space, what is it? Just space around. So I can say justify content space between. I think that'll do it. Okay. And now it takes the space in between each image and it kind of makes it even. But it doesn't care about the space here. So just whenever there's two items and there's space in between them, it'll make that space exactly the same. Well, that looks a little weird, right? So I could say, oh, I don't really want the between, I want the space around. That looks a lot better. So now it takes all the space around the whole image and makes it the same. So the space here and the space here makes it the same. So really, I mean, back in the day, you had to float stuff, you had to do margins, you had to do a bunch of stuff to get this kind of effect. Now it's just, you say, hey, flex, wrap, and then justify, and boom. And now automatically all this stuff just automatically lines up. Okay, so this flex boxes are perfect for this kind of stuff, where you're showing off work, you got thumbnails there. I mean, they're perfect for Lightbox type stuff. They're not, like, Flexbox really isn't used to like make a whole layout, but you can, but it's more just to kind of organize things in a way where it'll, you know, just fit. And you don't have to worry about margins and all that stuff. You just say, hey, flex, and then it just kind of does all the heavy lifting for you. But anyways, you take the containing div, display flex, and then you can just kind of play around with that. Now, is this required? No, not really, but this is more of an FYI, because I guarantee you, if you do web design, there will become a time where you're going to like, whoa, Flexbox would be amazing for this. Okay. Anyways, how are we doing?
I really have to go to the bathroom, but
What?
I don't want to miss anything.
I had a female student say that yesterday too. She's like, party time. She's like, enough talking. I got to go to the bathroom.
That women specifically?
Yes, I am.
Our bladder is like,
I am, Maggie.
Statistically, we're smaller people.
No. So what are you trying to say, Savannah? You need to go potty?
Huh?
You need to go potty?
Yeah, but like, if
All right.
I'm going to be taking a break, then I'm gonna.
Break time for potty breaks.
Okay.